Hello and welcome back to Idle Kingdom Defense. So today we are still on stage 9130. We have heard about the update, which basically means we are biding our time to see what changes. And we do not have buffs because we didn't finish yesterday. So, with all that out of the way, let's get started. Yep, so they're getting crowd control resist. That's going to be interesting. I kind of do hope that they dramatically reduce the hit point growth. If they do that, then I will consider the update worth it, even with a nerf to crowd control. The interesting thing is, a side effect of the nerfs to crowd control that I didn't consider is, now what might matter is how quickly the warriors pick up some of the troops. You know, like for example, Leonidas, if he can tank things all day long without a healer. Same with Anthony, and same with Ryan. The warriors that don't have extra dodge, they go down like a sack of potatoes sometimes, as we've seen with Roderick and Diego. However, that is only on longer fights, to be fair. Longer fights tend to create that problem. So again, like in this case, the warriors immediately picked up everything that came out. And because they picked up almost, well, not everything, there's some stuff there that Ryan and Anthony just got to. You know, because they picked everything up, it makes it very easy, for the castle. In fact, it makes it so easy that even that these guys are just sitting there waiting for us to heal the castle. They're just being nice. Trying to... Okay, there we go. And this is why I have a separate team for farming. I don't know how they'd fix that. Basically, if enemies don't advance a certain point, they seem to have some kind of invincibility. And it seems to me that they really need to probably change that. They can already get hit. I mean, they can take damage, so it's not really invincibility. But beyond a certain point, it's like the heroes don't auto-target them. It should be if there's nothing in the field, go ahead and target, anything. In other cases, with like Lucas, you can push things so far off the screen that your heroes will chase things. That was probably my most interesting experiment with Lucas. So I'm really curious how the crowd control turns out, because if you've seen the Portal video with no crowd control at all, you see that basically I just get straight up destroyed. If that's the way the game's going to kind of be in the future, and I doubt it'll be that extreme, there's going to be some crowd control. Definitely going to be more interesting. It's definitely going to make the game more random, so you might lose a wave that you beat before. I mean, we've seen that already. So a lot of possibilities will be coming out. And again, I look forward to them. I look forward to the patch, Regardless of the changes they make, we can't live in the past, right? So no matter what they do, we just have to kind of play it. Now, in this case, I might load the patch on maybe my alt account first. I still kept that around, just for fun. And we'll kind of see, we can kind of maybe do some experimentation there. But the reality is, I'm going to update no matter what. Even if it's the biggest nerf in the world, it's going to change the game. And we're going to see how it's going. Now, it might change the game so negatively that, I have to tell you guys that I'm regrettably going to end the series. Hopefully, I'm optimistic that they took their time. This is why the patch took so long. And they actually tested how the gameplay is, and hopefully did some A/B testing and things like that, this is a positive change for the long-term growth of the game. I have some faith. I have faith in the developers that they at least did try to do that. And again, if they did overtune things, it's also possible that they can immediately, change it, We could get this patch, it could be awful, they could see activity in the game go down, right? And if that does happen, then they could immediately revert the changes or figure out a different way to rebalance them. So, I am cautiously optimistic is how I'm going to put it. And so far, so good, Again, we haven't really struggled with this wave. We do really, the ogres are slow, very susceptible to crowd control. As you can see, the majority of them aren't even at the castle. So this is very good for us to just buy time before we get here. again, I am kind of excited to see the crowd control change, because it could vastly change how this works. You know, it would also make stacking crowd control more of a viable thing too, because now if you can't depend on Evan to say freeze 90% of the time or whatever it is, now you need to freeze and stun Herald. So even the nerf to crowd control might end up turning it to be, well, you have to basically crowd control. Again, in heroes like Christian, I don't see them changing. Herald probably won't be changing. The only one that might change is Adrian. Adrian might be replaced. I have had some people ask, like, why don't I level up Adrian? She's behind everybody else. And I'll show you the meters after this of basically why I don't level up Adrian. But the quick summary is she doesn't benefit from Luke and Tristan, so her DPS is just she starts out really strong. The heroes start out strong, and this is kind of the problem that they've created by creating heroes like Luke and Tristan that buff and buff so strongly. Any hero that they don't buff gets left behind. And that's kind of the dilemma that they put themselves in. If Luke and Tristram's buff actually worked for everyone, which included summoners, included the warriors on the field, then the game would be, in my estimation, that would be a dramatic improvement. Because now every one of your heroes, their damage contribution matters. And we'll go look at the warriors after this. This is a good stage to look at the contribution of everybody, because it's not too AoE focused as some of the other stages. So let's take a look after this. And finally mopping this up. Very nice. So here is the difference. So, alright, Sophia is now doing almost 8 times the damage of Anthony. Granted, she does have 4 times the levels. You would expect more output for her. And these guys only have 1-star gear. But she's doing 8 times their damage. She's doing more damage than all of the collective warriors. And this is because they don't get Luke's buff. This is basically, they don't get Luke's buff. If they did get Luke's buff, I would expect these numbers to about triple. Again, not huge. Sophia would still outshine them. The big change would be, like, Adrian would go from 8. Again, this is why I don't invest in her. Adrian would actually go to 8 to probably be about, no, she'd actually be up there again, I think. Let me look at Luke's buff real quick, because I don't remember it off the top of my head. Yeah, this is quite a deviation for King's Ruins. Where are you, Luke? There you are. 200%, yeah. So it would basically be tripling her damage. So, yeah, that would actually make her competitive. I mean, that's kind of the problem. Sophia would still do better than the Warriors. The Warriors kind of need help, because even if we tripled Anthony's damage, it would still only be 2.4 billion. But again, that would actually make this a little bit more competitive. I don't know why Warriors deal so low damage. That's strange. Well, it is what it is. It would also make Adrian. Adrian is also basically neck and neck with Sophia. So that's just to put things in perspective. Let's keep going. But yeah, that's a big reason why I don't level Adrian. She just doesn't put down a, if I was going to choose between leveling Adrian and leveling Christian, Christian's the one that's going to get it. Additionally, I was planning on replacing Adrian with Marion. And depending on how the changes play out, maybe it'll be Sophia that gets replaced. I don't know. I don't want to commit to anything. We're going to have to experiment with different things. The problem is, at my stage of the game, it's much more expensive to experiment. As you can see from the 9,000 levels I put into Sophia, I've basically been leveling her I don't know how long. And even if Sophia is replaced, I think she still will have value in King's Ruins just because of how her heal works. But again, we're going to have to see how dramatically they change the game. How are they going to change the game? What's changing? Again, because the last update did practically nothing. Alright, that's 4. Let's keep going. But like I said, regardless of what the changes is, I think it's all good changes to open the way forward for more for a better game and hopefully the long run. I'm very excited for that. Again, this is nothing special. A few things sneak through, and we basically just hold everything in place. It's important for us to keep things, kind of crowd controlled and stuff like that, so we can just take things out very quickly. Come on, let's finish this up. One thing I will be happy is if they actually nerf the hit points to actually end this kind of really long and unnecessary battle. I hope that when they do the rebalancing, they kind of look at this and go, look, they're staying at full health the whole time. Nothing's really changing. Is there a way we can speed this up? That's one of the things I hope they looked at. Another side effect, too, is if they actually do reduce the hit points enough, it might actually make sense for me to farm a higher level than, 7306. That's another thing I did forget to mention. So a lot of possible good things could come out of this. However, if where I'm at gets super overtuned, we could be in a lot of trouble. And there we go. That's Ruins 5. Very nicely done. It does seem like we finally get a handle on King's Ruins, and now they're changing things. So now I have to wait. No matter what, I have to wait. So far so good. Looks like we got this. I mean, I think we finally have gotten to the point where we can do this, as I said earlier, but I mean, it's kind of surprising. And again, I can't really say that it was necessarily Sophia getting legendary that pushed us over, but that really seemed to be what did it. And there we go. That's Ruin 6. Very nicely done. So far, so good. This is a pretty easy one, though. This is similar-ish to the one we've already seen, so... I'm not too surprised that this goes so well. And there we go. Now let's get to 8. This will be our midpoint. Yeah, and I'm kind of, you know, trying to consider what the changes would mean. You know, it's you know, again, I'm hoping for big changes, big changes that mean, you know, we're gonna shake up the meta and all that. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. But at the same time, based on the previous changes, we might not really see that dramatic of a change. There. All right, nice. All right, we have completed Ruins 8. Let's get to Ruins 9. So it looks like Sophia has been the differential in finally making this happen. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that we're probably behind. But I'm also, you know, it's also going to be interesting to see what does the meta change. That's the one thing I really like in a game like this, because Discord, and it's good and it's bad, right? With Discord, like, you know, there's like, I think maybe 1,500 of us in Discord. 1,500 of us could all try different things and get different results, and then we can kind of consolidate towards a meta. But once you consolidate towards that meta, there tends to be less experimentation, because it becomes a question of why aren't you playing the meta? So the you know, the amount of, you know, it's good and bad, right? And again, certain people have already exceeded all of this content already, that it doesn't really matter how the meta changes. You know, if you've made it to stage 13,000, you don't really care what they do to the meta. You know, you're done. You know, doesn't matter. And yep, this is, you know, but we haven't struggled with Ruins 9, so this has been pretty much a slam dunk every time. And there we go. Another one we have defeated. Excellent. Moving on right along. I'm very glad to see this. After how much we've struggled, I am so relieved that now we can just consistently do King's Ruins. At least that's what it seems like so far. And again, I would credit it to Sophia basically becoming rank 5 and that extra 2 seconds of healing. I really think that was the differential that has pushed us over the edge. Now again, see, something like this could happen in the new update, but what I would expect to happen, you know, again, is basically more things dying quicker rather than what we're seeing right now. Are we in trouble? Did I speak too soon? Alright, there we go. Yeah, it is always concerning when they don't come up and take care of the boss. Because a lot of times what I see is sometimes the boss, and to me, it is kind of funny how the boss has comparably so little health compared to the minions. That to me is kind of a questionable choice, you know? I would think that the boss would have probably more health, be more of a threat, but it seems like the minions have way more health, and they're more of a threat just by sheer numbers. So to me, that's kind of a strange choice. One of the things that would be interesting is if you could set the priority of the targets that are chosen. You know, like you could set it to be, attack the lowest health. That to me could be interesting. Now, again, that would have its pros and cons. Like, the problem is you don't want your warriors attacking the lowest health, because then they're going to all consolidate on one thing, So it needs to be kind of spread out a little bit. Honestly, if I could do anything, I'd have the warriors prioritize who's attacking the castle. Alright, nicely done. And there we go. That is, alright. We're getting close to the home stretch here. And this is the last wave of the dogs, so this should hopefully go pretty smoothly. Very nicely done. Good job, heroes. You beat the last dog wave. It should be all downhill from here. And good. Again, we haven't struggled with 12, but I'm glad to see it just going very well and not having any real problem. Just basically turning into the slugfest that we know most of these levels to be. Oh, we managed to stun him off screen. How about that? Go help him, Christian. Alright, there we go. Now we can finish them off. And nicely done. Ruins 13. Alright, good. We're almost done here. I do look forward to this if they do change these battles to be a little shorter. That to me is very exciting. So far, so good. It looks like we got this. Based on the current state of things, I doubt we're gonna struggle. So this is gonna be our baseline for going into the patch, I think. If we can come in here and do King's Ruins, and we're gonna have to compare, is it longer, is it shorter? This is not really a great example because I did take a pause there to look at Luke and stuff like that. But, you know, this is gonna set us up to see how much did the difficulty change, and if so, you know, how does that affect us? Unfortunately, we're still waiting 3 to 4 days for the update. I imagine we'll probably get it, Alright, let's see. Today's Monday. I'm gonna say Wednesday. We're gonna go for Wednesday. So in the middle of the week. That's when I'm anticipating us getting the update. So I am looking forward to it. Especially because this is the preparation. Finally, we're gonna get prepared to have to go from legendary heroes to mythic heroes. And as you can tell, I've been waiting for that. Very much so. So I apologize if this is a little commentary light. This is just our eternal kind of slugfest that I've been going through. And, you know, outside of what I said, you know, about how I feel like the balance is going to change with the update, there really isn't too much to talk about. You know, either we sit there and we control all the guys, or we don't, you know. Hopefully that changes a little bit in the future. And there we go. It is our 90th victory, so I think this is probably, I've probably been playing for around 93 to 94 days, give or take, in case you're wondering. So, once again, oh, how close are we to the Kingdom Pass? 30 away. Yeah, I can't do anything. So once again, thank you for watching. Please like or subscribe to support the channel. If you have any questions, please say something in the comments. I always look forward to your questions. And thank you again. I hope you have a great day.